Welcome to RCAM. I hope you guys are having a freaking amazing day. I know that I am. So I hope everybody is blessed. I hope everybody is just doing great. You know, I know I am. So I'm trying to. That's my goal, is to do great. So anyway, I hope everybody is just doing well. And we are live here on Rumble. Today we are going to be talking about the new casting for the Disney's live action remake of Tangled. And they did something shocking. This is probably one of their most controversial casting decisions in a while. Rapunzel is white. So we'll talk about that. We'll also talk about the series finale of Stranger Things, because I've been wanting to talk about that and I haven't had time. I just haven't had time. So we'll talk about that today. And I also want to take a minute to talk about the incident that happened in Minneapolis with the ICE agent running over the woman. You know, the ICE agent that said, "This is MAGA country," and ran this poor, sweet liberal woman over. So we're going to talk about that today. But before we do, if you like this content, please like, share, subscribe, and click the notification bell to stay notified every time that we go live. And we go live every Tuesday through Saturday at 9 o'clock. Today, it was like 9:15. Yeah, life with kids, you know, and we're in full-blown baby mode, all right? So I got a lot to do. I'm a busy guy. I'm building furniture, moving furniture around. Saturday is going to be the day I tackle the bunk bed. So I got a lot, man. I got a lot going on, but you know, things are happening right now too. By the way, you know, wifey she's getting close. There are signs that the baby could be here any minute now. So we are on baby watch officially. It probably is going to be like a week or so. Week or two is my guesstimate. We should actually set up a Polymarket bet for this. Like, when is RCAM's wife going to have her baby? Just kidding, don't do that. But yeah, that's gonna happen soon. I'm really excited. You know, I'm gonna be a dad again. You know, that's, you know, cool. Or I'm gonna be a dad to a new kid again. So a youngster, a baby. We're gonna have a baby in the house again. We have a toddler now, and we have a 7-year-old, and both of them are awesome in their own unique ways. You know, our toddler is a handful. To put it mildly, the toddler is a handful, as toddlers are. Toddlers are going to do what toddlers are going to do, and it is what it is. So yeah, you know, anyway, I'm excited. Everybody's excited. My oldest daughter, I think, is the most excited. She's like, just talks about how she can't wait and how excited she is to have a baby brother. So yeah, it's cool. And I won't be outnumbered by women in the family anymore. Well, we'll still be outnumbered, but at least I'll have somebody to, you know, take them on with me. So it'll be cool. It'll be good. It'll be good, guys. I'm looking forward to it. So let's see. Let's see what's happening here on the old socials. All right. So, we got 4 over on YouTube. How are you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing well. And we are about to get into this. But first, I just want to make sure all my ducks are in a row, which I probably should have done that before stream. You know, it probably would have made a lot of sense. But you know, I fly by the seat of my pants. You know, it is what it is. You know, this is life as a dad. You know, and this is one of those things too, where it's like, I love streaming. Like, this is my hobby. All right, I'm not doing this to make a name for myself or anything like that. I'm doing it because it's my hobby. I just enjoy doing it. It's really as simple as that. But I do not have as much time as I would like to do these well-polished streams, but eventually I'll get there. Eventually I'll have the wherewithal to make it, and I hope, you know, I'm looking forward to that. So, all right, let's get into this casting decision. So, as you guys know, I have been... Oh, hey, Resident of Cano, thank you for the raid. Good Lord, I thought you were sick when I saw you in that hat. Hi, Ashley Fisher. Can I get a shout out? Ashley Fisher, you're getting shout out, I guess. I just took up my phone and saw you in the hat and assumed that you were sick. I'm not sick. I just didn't feel like styling my hair. I have cancer now. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not sick. Thank you for the raid, Resident of Kanto. Appreciate it, brother. Resident of Kanto is my real life bro. My real life bro. I can't believe it's not brother, because he's just like my brother, but not actually my brother. All right. He came up with that too, not me. It was clever. It was clever. All right, let's talk about this. All right, so the live action remake of, obviously I'm not even a big fan of live action remakes, okay? I think this will probably be good though, because there's only so much CGI you can actually use in this. So it's like, I'm hoping they use a real horse and just make it appear to talk and not like a CGI rendered horse. I'll be pissed if they do that. They're going to do that. You know it. You know they're going to make a CGI Maximus. I hope they don't do that. God, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. But anyway, my biggest problem with live action movies is that they're not actually live action. They're computer generated movies with some human beings in them. All right, it should be real human actor movies, and you don't even get that in some of them. like what is it, Snow White? You couldn't even get real dwarves. All right, you got CGI abominations. So you can't even get that. So that's stupid. So anyway, it's a live action remake of Tangled, which I actually think is one of the I am spiraling. Is one of the better live action movies or Disney movies. I thought it was great, very well done, very good story, and it's one of those things too. It is gonna, it's gonna be a fake horse though. It is. I'm not crazy. It is. Hello, Rosetto XO. What is up with people on YouTube? Where are you all coming from? How are you finding me? This is unusual behavior happening tonight. But yes, it is gonna be a stupid CGI dwarf horse. Anyway, the original Disney movie though, I thought, was really good. It was one of their better done movies. I actually think that was what pretty much every movie, with the exception of Moana, that has come out since has not been that great. All right. So, and I was thinking about why that movie in particular, why Tangled was so good. And it's because they did a lot of things right. All right. So one, Rapunzel was kind of like a break in their traditional Disney princesses. She wasn't so poised. She was, a little bit goofy and, free-spirited and whimsical. She a real Mary Sue type of character that I thought they did well. And then they did Flynn Rider. I thought he was a great character. And it was one of the last Disney movies they did where they actually had like a love story between two characters. Like the princess was actually, being saved from the tower from a, which is unthinkable now in Girl Boss Disney. You can't do that. You can't have men saving women in Disney movies anymore. They save themselves. All right. So that was good, so I thought that was really well done. And then you had Rapunzel basically being capable, but most of the time, it was Eugene that was the one that was protecting her. Eugene was the one that was looking out for her. And then in the end, he ends up giving his life for her. So this self-sacrificial role from a male hero character. And then his arc too, he became good and she ends up kind of winning him over, taming him, turning this thief bandit into a likable good guy, which is it's just good storytelling. That's a very good recipe to make a good movie. You have a redemption arc for the male character. You turn him around. You give him a princess to fight for. And you tap into the female audience, you tap into the male audience. It's good. So it was a good movie. And I enjoyed it. And my daughter, she loves it too. Our whole family loves it. I honestly thought, like, I resonate with that movie a lot. Basically because, like, no, I'm not gonna say it on stream. I'm not gonna say it on stream. I don't want to throw shade at anybody on stream. But I recognize some parallels in my own relationship at the time. So that's kind of cool. Anyway, let's look at the casting. So here is who they cast for both Rapunzel and Flynn Rider. What? Guys, are you seeing this? They're white. They're white. Look, she's white, guys. She's white. I cannot believe this. Say it ain't so. Look at how very white she is. And she has, like, blue eyes and blonde hair. What's going on here? This is crazy town. Oh. This is crazy. Oh, wait. Speaking of, okay. All right, I'm going to be just 5 minutes. I got to go get wifey. She is coming in, and I got to get her. So give me a minute. Listen to some music while I wait. All right, we are back. So yeah, we have Rapunzel here, who is actually white. It's I don't know what's happening, guys. I don't know what timeline we're living in, but things are changing. And I was almost certain she was going to be black with braids, and she was going to throw her braids out the window. But they decided to go in a different direction, which I actually think is a breath of fresh air. Now, before I'm out of breath, running up 3 flights of stairs or 2 flights of stairs, it's takes a lot. But anyway, it's not that I don't have a problem with um black characters. All right, you I don't. I have a problem with people taking traditionally characters that are traditionally a certain color, a certain race, and race swapping them to appeal to a certain group of people. That's what I don't like. All right. So if they took like Tatiana from Princess and the Frog and they made her, Hispanic, I'd have an issue with that. She's not Hispanic, And it's like you don't have to take white characters and make them black. Just make black characters with compelling stories. And people will watch it, all right? People love Moana. She's a person of color. Kids love Moana. Moana's a great movie. They weren't trying then. They weren't trying to be politically correct. They just made a character based off of I guess, Hawaiians, and I thought that was great. It was really well done. So now they're actually returning to Team Sanity here, and they're casting, actors and actresses that actually look the part. They actually look like the people they are trying to play, instead of playing, diversity Olympics. And people are going to show up, and we know people will show up. This is one of the issues that people had with Snow White, among many other issues, which I think, this is Disney trying their redemption arc. Because in many ways, the Snow White was like everything wrong with uh, the direction Disney is going. They're just doing it wrong. You don't change the race of the characters. You embrace the race they already are and just make the characters that are interesting. Yes, exactly, my guy. Just make interesting characters. You want to know something too? Like, all right, they had Into the Spider-Verse with Miles Morales as Spider-Man. I love that Spider-Man. All right. And it's not because they race swapped Peter Parker. They didn't he's a entirely different character with Spider-Man abilities, and it was cool, and it was good. That's actually one of my favorite Spider-Man movies is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, at least the first one. They did it right. They did it good. It was interesting. It was compelling. He was a good character. No issues. But I'd be pissed if they took like Peter Parker and they just turned him black. Peter Parker isn't black. He's a white guy. All right. And there's a Green Lantern too. That's black. He's cool. I'd actually like to see him get his own standalone. That would be cool. So I just, I don't have an issue with that. I also, so this might be a little controversial. If a black character plays a part and he's just so insanely talented that he just crushes the role. Like, he blows every character out of the water, and it's just that I could actually forgive that. Like, I'd be like, "Okay, he's, that good of an actor? Let's see it. Let's see what's going on. She's that good of an actress?" But that's always not the case. They're not good, they're not interesting. They just check a check mark, and I think that is obnoxious. So anyway, she good. She looks the part. I could definitely see her as Rapunzel. So I think that is good news. Actually, I mean, I teased a little bit in my thumbnail photo, but she does look like Rapunzel. So, you know, yeah, definitely. Definitely looks the part. So that's good. She can also sing. Hopefully that play. Oh wait, I don't think that desktop audio played. All right, let's try that again.
And Rose are reunited. This time she said it was for real. She'd take him back to where it started, and he would melt her heart of steel. Life is a bitter disappointment. She would hear young heart.
So not good, not a bad voice, not a bad singing voice. So I think they got her right. They got Rapunzel right. And now my choice for Rapunzel was actually an actress called. I'll pull her up real quick. I don't like searching up actresses in the search bar because you just never know what you're gonna you're gonna see when you pull up some of these characters. Uh, so I'm very careful. Isabel May, where is she? Yeah. So this is Isabel May. You probably know her from I think she would have been a better Rapunzel, but I don't know how she sings, but she looks more like Rapunzel. You've seen her in she was in a Daily Wire production called Run Hide Fight. She was also in I think it was 19 or 1883. So she was in that too. So she's a pretty good actress though. So I think she would have been a good casting choice. Good lord, I saw the picture of you in the background. If that was 10 years ago, you look way better now than you did when you were younger. Yeah, all right, Candy. Shots fired, bro. Yeah, I was 19, buddy. And yeah. That was our first date. So, on Valentine's Day. Very long time ago. But I guess it's true men do get better looking as they age. So I'll take that underhanded compliment. I'll take it. All right. So a little bit more about Tegan and the new actress. So Tangled live action movie finds its leads Tegan Croft and Milo Mainham. Get out of here. So the decision comes after Disney sent up lanterns into the sky in US and UK to find feature project leads with finalist screen testing in London in December before winter holidays. Now Croft and Mayhem step up to lock previously worn rules by Mandy Moore and Zachary Levi, which I thought Zachary Levi was a great Flynn rider, and Mandy Moore is obviously a very talented actress. And she also has a beautiful voice, so I thought that was great. Um, so the could have massive implications on the actor's career. A Disney's live action feature has the potential to become a $1 billion worldwide hit. The live action Lilo and Stitch was the year's only $1 billion hit until Disney's animated Zootopia 2 came along. So yeah, I think it's going to do very well. I think it's going to do very, very well. Now, I say that with a caveat, all right? It'll do well as long as they keep their mouths shut and they don't do anything stupid like Rachel Zegler did to tank the Snow White movie, all right? As long as they keep their politics to themselves and they just shut up and act, do what they were paid to do, and keep their political opinions in themselves, it should be fine. Okay, it should be fine, and nobody cares about their political opinions. And some people in Hollywood are starting to wake up to this. What was it? Jennifer Lawrence said this. Nobody cares. celebrities don't make a difference. And she's right. You don't make a difference. So just shut up. Shut up, make the movie, and it should be fine. So here's a little clip of the male actor that's playing Flynn Rider.
Oh, what ideas, you guys? I'm Milo Manheim from Zombies 4, Dawn of the Vampires, and you're watching Disney Channel. I've been practicing.
He definitely looks the part, and he's got the swagger. So he's got that Flynn Rider demeanor to him. Oh, I don't know if I pulled that up, but yeah, he has the demeanor.
Oh, what ideas, you guys? I'm Milo Manheim from Zombies 4, Dawn of the Vampires, and you're watching Disney Channel.
So I think that'll be good. Anyway. All right. Ooh, we'll play that in a second. But yeah, overall, I have to say I am happy and satisfied with the casting. Them just getting Rapunzel, to be a white blonde girl is, I think, just culturally a win. Imagine like like you're somebody from the 90s and you talk to somebody, you visit us in the future, and we're like, yeah, we're just stoked that they cast a white Rapunzel, and they're like, why wouldn't they cast it? That people just be confused. What are you talking about? And then you have to explain to them where we went through this crazy period where we were just doing these insane casting choices. Like we cast Hispanic Snow White, and then Black Ariel. They'd be like, "No, you're joking. That didn't really happen." And no, no, we're being for real. That happened. Black Air. Come on, guys. Come on. It's so ridiculous. And you want to know what, too? If they were trying to get like an underrepresented group of people, redheads are underrepresented, okay? They are a marginalized people. It's already bad enough that we joke about them having no souls, okay? And then they get replaced by Black Ariel. Disgusting. Okay. Let's move on. All right, there's two kind of entertainment related pieces that I want to cover. So Marvel Studios released its first teaser trailer to Avengers Doomsday, and I want to check that out.
Death comes for us all. That's all I know for sure. The question isn't, are you prepared to die? The question is, who will you be when you close your eyes?
That's cool. I like James Marsden as Cyclops. I think I'm probably butchering his last name, but he's great. Unfortunately, he always dies in movies, but he's great. And it looks like they got Professor X and Magneto back. They're so old. And I thought Professor X died. It's been so long since I've watched the X-Men movies, but I thought he died. I thought the Phoenix killed him. Like that's what I thought happened. So they'll be you know, fighting with the Avengers with their canes. So that'll be the good news is that it won't seem like super PC because Professor X has always had a wheelchair. So that's just his thing. You know what I never thought of? All right. Just random thought. If Professor X is crippled and he has the ability basically to do like mind control, right? Can nah, nah. I was wondering why he couldn't make his own legs move, but never mind. I don't really remember what his powers are. It's been a hot minute. I know he can like control things using Cerebro, which I guess is going to play a role in this movie. So that's kind of cool. So I'm excited for a new Avengers movie. It's been a hot minute. I gotta say I'm not. I didn't watch any of the. I didn't watch Ant Man. Actually, I started watching Ant Man Quantumania, I think, and I just couldn't get into it. I guess they were building up toward Kang, and then they scrapped that because Jonathan Majors was slapped with like abuse allegations and stuff like that. And now they're going to Avengers Doomsday, and they're bringing back all their all their star-studded cast, including uh, Robert Downey Jr. and um, what is it? Chris. Man, why am I forgetting his name? Anyway, the guy that plays Captain America. You know who I'm talking about. Why? It's not. No, Hemsworth is freaking Thor. I'm drawing a blank. I'm drawing a blank, y'all. But you know who I'm talking. You know the thing. That guy. So they're bringing back Captain America, and apparently part of the plot involves when Captain America goes back in time and he tries to get his happy ending, he like causes like an unintended like tear in the universe that ends up destroying Doctor Doom's world or something like that. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting idea. So I think it'll be good. Another thing I wanted to just showcase real quick. So I as you guys know, I'm a huge Resident Evil fan, big fan of the game. And this is now this they're showing off like, NVIDIA's graphics, which look really good with RTX. Gosh, that thing is horrifying. Ugh. But look at how good that looks. So I'm excited for that. It just looks like a really, really well polished, good game with excellent graphics. So 4K path tracing and NVIDIA DLSS. Ask me what that means. I don't know. My dorky friends would know better than I do, but I don't know. So yeah, I think it's going to be a good year for movies, good years for games. I am very much looking forward to the release of this game. So this comes out in February, I believe, 17th. It's a Friday. I know it comes out or Thursday or Friday, one of those days. And that day I will I will suddenly fall sick and have to take the day off. And you all know that when you're sick and you take the day off, you play video games all day. Who says grown-ups can't play hooky? Who says that? Who says it? Because that's what I feel like doing. So yeah, that looks good. All right. The other thing I wanted to talk about that I haven't had a chance to talk about was the Stranger Things series finale. So I have watched basically every episode of Stranger Things. I really liked it. It was well done. And for those of you who may not know about Stranger Things is a sci-fi horror drama created by the Duffer Brothers set in a small fictional town known as Hawkins, uh, in Indiana during the 1980s. And this show follows a group of kids: Mike, Dustin, Lucas, Will, Max, and a couple other characters who join them along the way, whose ordinary lives are shattered when a secret government experiment at Hawkins National Laboratory tears open a doorway to another world. And that world is known as the Upside Down. So anyway, that's like a synopsis of the show. And it very much has like Silent Hill inspired vibes, which I thought was good. And the story surrounds the disappearance of a kid named Will Byers. And the first season of this show is really rooted in that mystery, and I thought they did a good job exploring this and touching on this upside down world where these demons are coming out of. I thought it was really well done. They tackled this kid having superpowers really well. Well done. And the season's kind of built upon that, and there's this central mystery around the upside down, which ultimately gets answered in season 5, which we discover is this wormhole basically that connects the upside down to Hawkins, the real world. And or no, not the upside down. It's the upside down is this wormhole that connects this world called the Abyss to Hawkins. So anyway, that was a cool twist. So then we get to the season finale, all right? And I got to say, leading up to the season finale, like I thought season 5 started kind of strong when they started doing the gay stuff with Will. I'm like, Jesus, please make it stop. And then they had the episode leading up to Will's big fight with Vecna, who's the big bad of Stranger Things. Him coming out as gay. He needed to come out as gay to save the world. So that happened. And then we jump into the series finale where everything is kind of coming together for them to defeat Vecna. And they have this plan where they're going to basically infiltrate the Abyss, well, go to the upside down, and basically as the worlds are kind of merging together, they're going to jump up into the Abyss and hunt Vecna down and kill him. That's the plan. Obviously stuff goes wrong, but they ultimately end up in the upside down. They end up in the fight with Vecna and the Mind Flare, and they end up, spoiler alert if you haven't watched the show. It's about to get spoiled, so you have like 5 seconds before I spoil this to hop off the stream, and then I'm sorry, it's going to happen to you. So we're getting into spoiler territory. Anyway, they end up defeating Vecna and the Mind Flare, or so we think, because this created a bunch of the show. The show did such a bad job in wrapping everything up with a nice, neat little bow that it created. They call it, what is it, conformity gate, but I call it CopeGate, because they came up with this insane theory that the show had a secret ending that that nobody knew about. We'll talk about that more in a little bit. But anyway, the show ends, they defeat Vecna, and 11 sacrifices herself in the process. Now, the actual fight between 11 and Vecna, I thought the fight was good, at least with Vecna. I thought the Mind Flare, he went down kind of easy, all right? And then to the world that they go into. All right, so we've seen the Demogorgons, we've seen the Demo Dogs, and we've seen the Demo Bats. The Demo Bats killed what's his name? Eddie. So we see all these creatures. So you think when the whole crew goes into the Abyss, goes into their world, their turf, that we'd see them. We'd see these creatures. Nothing. It's like a barren desert. I was not impressed with their world. It wasn't even that scary, all right? It was just a desert with rocks. It was rocky. So it was like this alien world that I thought they could have done a much better job with it. And they could have made it a lot more intense by actually having Demogorgon up there and Demo Dogs and or maybe some obscure creatures that we haven't seen that at least, pose a moderate threat to the characters, and part of them getting to Vecna is fighting some of these creatures. That would have been interesting. That would have been better. That would have at least showed us a little bit more of their world, and it kind of explained, that, oh, like, yeah, there's a lot of these creatures here, and it's a good thing we didn't merge the worlds. Because, like, what would have happened if they merged the worlds, right? They would have had just the mind flare coming into into the real world, and what? He would have gotten nuked by the military, right? And it would have been over. He was not actually that much of a threat. Well, look, basically, kids, a group of kids, 6 kids, beat him with, Molotovs and, you know, uh, yeah, some guns and spears. That's it, man. It was not that impressive, so I thought they could have done a better job there in the Mind Flayer's home turf. So very disappointing opportunity. So I didn't like that, but what I did like is the final blow, the final kill to Vecna. I thought it was good, and I thought the fact that Joyce is the one that delivers it was, so I thought that was good. I thought letting Joyce be the one that ultimately does it, the mom, her son is the one that went missing, so, and she didn't really get to do a whole heck of a lot, so the fact that she was able to do this, I thought, good for her. Good for Joyce. All right. So I thought that was good. Thought it was well done. And the other, I guess moment that a lot of people are not happy with is the death of 11, but there's some speculation that she didn't actually die. And that's because of a couple of, theories involving her death are emerging. So I'll play a couple of them and we'll talk about it. So this is a fan edit put together. Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I thought. I thought, yeah, she escaped. Oh, we're gonna talk about it. We're definitely gonna talk about it. I'm gonna just wrap up this Strangers thing recap, and then we're going to discuss that. So anyway, I do think that 11 is alive, but there are a lot of people that are so upset over the way this show ended that they thought that the Duffer Brothers were going to have this secret episode come out on 1/7 because there was a clock in Stranger Things that hit 1/7, and they thought they discovered Morse code in one of the video scenes with videotapes in it. But that just shows you kind of how they did not do a good job wrapping up this story. They left a lot of plot holes and unanswered questions. Um, I was actually fine with the ending for the most part. It wasn't perfect, but it wasn't the worst ending I've ever seen. It was tolerable. I thought it was pretty good. It was everybody pretty much for the most part got a happy ending. The only characters that really didn't get a happy ending was Mike and 11, but all of his friends, they get their happy endings. Hopper and Joyce get married, Dustin goes to college, Max and Lucas, continue to be in a happy relationship. Will is goes and continues to be gay in New York, I think. And Nancy and, God, I forget the other people. Steve, the lesbian chick, and they end up just growing up. So it was a good ending. It was fine. I'm not losing sleep over it. I've definitely seen worse endings. I guess maybe if that's how you're gauging it, it's like, yeah, maybe it was bad. I don't know. I could live with it though. I could live with it. All right. So we're going to move on to final topic of the night. We are going to talk about this ice shooting. All right. Now, or ice shooting. This ice. Wait. Wait, was there a shooting that I missed, KMD? Because I'm thinking about the. Are you? I'm thinking about the woman that tried to murder an ICE agent with her vehicle and got shot. So we're going to talk about that. But there have been plenty of ICE shootings. That's happened already. An ICE facility has been shot up. There's been ICE agents that have repeatedly been attacked and harmed. And this is just another instance where that is happening. Um, Man, I wish I could pause on TikTok for a second because maybe I can. Maybe I can mute my scene real quick. Couldn't hide sources required. Dang it. Man, I'm going to get banned on TikTok. So, it is what it is. TikTok, if you like this content, don't watch it here. Watch it on Rumble. Or I won't get banned. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But there was an incident that happened in Minneapolis this past week where a woman was obstructing ICE agents from doing their jobs, and she was in a car and she was given commands to leave her vehicle, and she doesn't listen. And then she attempts to drive in to one of the ICE officers in her attempt to evade law enforcement officers, and the officer in question shoots her. And it should have happened. That is the only correct way to respond in this situation. If you feel like your life is in danger, then you have to do what you have to do to protect your own life. And leftists, we know, don't value our lives. We know they will kill us if given the chance. And we know that there has been repeated calls for escalation with ICE agents. When people are saying ICE agents, and this is the rhetoric that Democrats are using, they're saying ICE agents are kidnapping people. They're kidnapping people. When they're not. These aren't children. These are grown ass adults. And they're not being kidnapped. They're being deported. They're simply being told to go back to their own country. Which one I don't get why people get so bent out of shape about this. They're not getting sent to Guantanamo, okay? They're getting sent back to their own country where they will still be able to live, they'll still be able to make a life for themselves. Now, do they get to enjoy the benefits of the United States? No, but that's the price you pay for entering our country illegally. You don't get to reap the benefits of our country. Sorry, but we will pay to send you back. And I think that's very fair. They built a life here. I don't care. I don't care if they built a life here. That doesn't matter to me. Anyway, let's play. We'll play first a clip of the actual car ramming into this ICE agent. There's dozens of them, but I think this one most accurately captures the incident. So that way, if you're watching my stream and you're not being exposed to all the propaganda, you can actually see what happens. Because there's a lot of leftists that are just in denial. They are convinced that ICE just murdered this person for no reason. And then I saw her face. I'm a believer, and not a trick. I mean, we could do without the music. It's a little unnecessary. But yeah, look. So here, frame by frame, there's the car. Driving. Boom. Rams right into that guy. So it's like undeniable. She runs him over and then he shoots her. How do you argue against that? I don't think I would shoot. I just it didn't seem that serious to me. I think she was trying to challenge the state, got scared when she was about to be arrested and tried to drive off. Yeah, I mean, we can't speak to what her intentions were, only her actions. And her actions are that she drove into a law enforcement officer. And unfortunately, if he feels like his life is threatened, he has every right to defend himself. And apparently, too, this guy has been hit by an ICE protester before. So this is the second time that he's had a car driven into him. So it's not a theoretical thing that could happen. It's something that has happened to him. And I think the people to blame are the leftists that are drumming up this narrative that ICE agents are boogeymen. They are, agents of Satan hunting down innocent people. No, they are hunting down people who violated our laws. And often people that are actual criminals, I mean, all of them are criminals, but like, doing harder crimes that endanger the lives of our citizens. All right. I wanted to play Tim's take here real quick, and then we'll talk about it.
While I initially said that I believed she wasn't intending to hit the officer and was trying to flee, but still put the officer in fear of harm, no, I've changed my mind. I'm going to show you the slowed down footage that I believe proves this woman was in.
Also, here's the thing with shootings or carjackings or whatever, we have to, before we have a knee-jerk reaction, we have to wait until we get more evidence, and the leftists, though, the narrative they ran with, and this is the power of narratives, whatever narrative dominates the news cycle is the narrative that's going to win. And unfortunately for this ICE agent, leftists are framing this, and they'll never show the other footage. They're doubling down on the fact that she basically this innocent woman that got murdered peacefully protesting.
Intending to kill that ICE agent. Watch the officer who has his gun drawn. Look at his feet right here in the back left. Let me make it a little bit easier for you guys to see. As I pull this forward, notice his feet both slide backwards. You see his foot sliding? Yeah, he's not taking a step. He's being hit by the vehicle. Now I can already hear you saying, hold on, Tim. If you're up against a vehicle and it accelerates and it pushes you out of the way, that doesn't warrant shooting somebody. Agreed. Let's go back to the lie. Here's the officer. Here's the vehicle reversing. The officer is not in front of the vehicle. She reverses, and now he is in front of the vehicle. He initially is to the right of the vehicle. By all means, argue he should not have placed himself in this position. We're talking about seconds. Now watch this. The vehicle.
It's having, she was asking for vibes when people say he shouldn't have placed himself in this position.
Stops here. The wheels are pointed left. As you can see, the officer is standing right in front of the vehicle. Now watch this. Right there. You see the front tire? Watch the front tire right here. The wheels are pointed left, and she accelerates. The wheel spins out on ice. Then, with the wheels pointed at the officer, having spun out already, meaning the officer can hear the engine rev with it pointed at him, he draws his weapon. And in a second, because this is slow mode, she then begins to turn right, hitting him, and he shoots. I want to stress this again. Her front tire on her SUV is spinning out on the ice. You can see it right there. It spins on the ground. It slips. The officer, who was not standing in front of the vehicle before she backed up and pointed at him, and then accelerates with her tires spinning out, and then moving forward, he draws his weapon, and then the wheel turns to the right. Now, of course, people have said, oh, like she only tried to turn right after the gun was drawn. Maybe, but I'll put it like this. I don't know what her intentions were, and it's immaterial what her intentions were. But look at this. The tire spinning out and slipping on the ice before stopping. There are 2 points that I think are important. Were it not for the ice, which you can see on the ground, the vehicle would have just lurched forward, run this guy over. Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, that ice might have saved his life. Honestly, ironically, ice saving Ice's life. All right. I think she panicked and the ICE agent overreacted. You don't stand in front of a car. That's dangerous. With that said, with that being said, legally he probably won't be charged. I mean, I don't think he overreacted, bro. I think if you are aware that these people basically view you as monsters and will, you know, have a history of attacking ICE officers and facilities violently, and he now let me confirm if he's actually been hit before because I don't want to spread fake news. So let me just verify quick because I'm pretty sure he was hit before. All right, let's see. Man, I can't find it. I can't find it, but I think it doesn't really matter whether he was hit before or anything. He feared for his life, as he should have, honestly. And yeah, and I think he had every right to defend himself. So I think a perfectly rational and reasonable explanation for what happened, and I stand by the officer's action in that moment. You know, what are you gonna do? You have a vehicle barreling its way toward you, you know? Maybe she panicked, I don't know, you know, and we don't ultimately know exactly what happened, but all he needs is, uh, you know, uh, to fear for his life, and he did. I think he did. I think he was in very real danger, and if it weren't for the ice, he would have died. Yes, because she's frantically trying to get away. She knows she messed up. That's why I mean, it doesn't matter if she's frantically trying to get away. She shouldn't be trying to get away. She should be complying. And if she honestly, if she had just complied, and followed the orders, she would have gotten away and it would have been an issue. And she would still have her life. Listen, this isn't an underscore say that her life didn't matter. Of course, her life matters. This is a human being that lost her life, and it's a tragedy because it shouldn't have happened. It was completely avoidable. But you have Democrats stoking up fanning the flames, trying to incite more violence against ICE. I mean, right now there's riots happening or protests happening. Protesters marched the streets of Minneapolis following the death of Renee Good. F ICE. The protesters were heard chanting as they marched in footage shared by Scooter Caster, New York. Yeah. So now there have been some people calling on, they've been coming up with these nuanced takes. We'll I'll share one of them because I just disagree. I don't think there is any nuance here. So you have this guy. End tribalism in politics. Two unpopular opinions on the Minneapolis shooting. The woman who died was at fault. Correct. She was acting erratically, inserted herself into a dangerous situation, and behaved in a way that put both herself and others at risk. Yes, correct. The ICE agent acted on instinct and fired too quickly. No, actually, he should have not escalated to lethal force in that moment. Nope. We don't know what these people are capable of. Lethal force, honestly, was probably the best bet. We need a full body cam footage to understand exactly what he perceived, but based on the video available, it does not appear like his life is in danger. No, his life is in danger. If somebody is trying to run you over, your life is in danger. Period. But based on the video, it does not. The left are already calling this blatant murder. Yeah, they are. The right is already claiming the woman was trying to. Well, she was though. Like, she was trying to run him over. That her vehicle was pointed in his direction. Neither narrative is accurate. The woman who died acted dangerously and recklessly. Yes. The ICE agent drew and fired his weapon too fast. No. If both sides don't pause the political posturing and refocus on de-escalation, Minneapolis is heading toward another night of chaos, just like George Floyd. ICE should temporarily pull back from community, and the leaders on the left need to clearly and forcefully call for calm and nonviolence. There's almost no chance both of these things happen, which means the situation will get ugly and Minneapolis could burn again. I know this take won't make me popular with either side, but that's just my initial thoughts. Yeah, because I think it's a cowardly. Honestly, I think it's a cowardly take. I I uh and I don't think it's reasonable. It's cloaked as being reasonable, but if he didn't act, him and other agents could be dead. So I don't think there is any nuance here. This is not an intellectual take. It's cowardly. And we need more ICE agents, not less. We can't give these people an inch. They killed Charlie Kirk. Okay. They attacked ICE agents multiple times already. There is no de-escalation. There's no off-ramp here. They violently destroyed cities before because a violent criminal died from a drug overdose. You know, I think the violence stops when we actually get serious about punishing people that are attacking our federal agents, and where we don't put up with nonsense like this. So, yeah, we've tried de-escalating the left. It doesn't work because they're out of their damn minds. You can't de-escalate them because they're crazy. All right? That's the reality of the situation. So, I do think this officer was completely justified, and uh, I I think this woman acted erratically, and she tragically lost her life. You don't stand in front of a moving vehicle, um, obstructing law enforcement, and think that you can just get away with doing that. And any Democrat still defending this disgusting human being who is clearly attempting to murder this ICE agent is delusional. Absolutely delusional. I saw someone on Thread say I'd literally have I'll pull it up now because it's freaking crazy. I'd literally rather have 5,000 Muslim neighbors than an ICE agent. Shut up. These people are so mind-numbingly stupid. Like, this gives me man versus bear vibes. Joanne Lewis, you are 100% correct. Thank you, Joanne. Appreciate that. So, yeah, there's no de-escalation at these points. These people live in a parallel universe, all right? We are not living in the same timeline anymore. They believe complete and utter fantasy. And even with the new footage coming out, they're not going to change their minds. There's a narrative that's out there right now, and that's the narrative that they're going to go with. And it's a shame. I wish that weren't the case. Let me move my mic. There we go. I wish that were. Hold on a second. I wish that weren't the case, but it is. So there's that. And I just wanted to play this clip by JD Vance because I thought it was good.
A photo. When I was actually walking out here, somebody sent me a photo of a CNN headline about what happened in Minneapolis. And this is the headline. I'm just going to read it. Outrage after ICE officer kills U.S. citizen in Minneapolis. Well, That's one way to put it, and that is the way that many people in the corporate media have put this attack over the last 24 hours. And I say attack very, very intentionally, because this was an attack on federal law enforcement. This was an attack on law and order. This was an attack on the American people. The way that the media, by and large, has reported this story has been an absolute disgrace, and it puts our law enforcement officers at risk every single day. What that headline leaves out is the fact that that very ICE officer nearly had his life ended, dragged by a car 6 months ago, 33 stitches in his leg.
See, I told you, he had previously gotten run over before. That was not the first time. So when a car is pointed at him, you know, he knows what the end result is because it happened to him.
So you think maybe he's a little bit sensitive about somebody ramming him with an automobile? What that headline leaves out is that that woman was there to interfere with a legitimate law enforcement operation in the United States of America. What that headline leaves out is that that woman is part of a broader left-wing network to attack, to dox, to assault, and to make it impossible for our ICE officers to do their job. If the media wants to tell the truth, they ought to tell the truth that a group of left-wing radicals have been working tirelessly, sometimes using domestic terror techniques to try to make it impossible for the President of the United States to do what the American people elected him to do, which is enforce our immigration laws. The President stands with ICE. I stand with ICE. We stand with all of our law enforcement officers. And part of that is recognizing that you people in the media, not everybody in this room, but many people in this room have been lying about this attack.
Yep.
She was trying to ram this guy with her car. He shot back. He defended himself. He's already been seriously wounded in law enforcement operations before, and everybody who's been repeating the lie that this is some innocent woman who was out for a drive in Minneapolis when a law enforcement officer shot at her, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Every single one of you. Questions?
Thank you, Mr. Vice.
I mean, he said it perfectly. He said it perfectly. Yeah. This is not some innocent woman. Just isn't, you know, that's the reality of the situation. She's not just an innocent woman. She's trying to murder this ICE agent. I wish it weren't the case. I wish that didn't happen, but it did, you know, and we'll see what happens. You know, I would not be surprised if leftists burn down their own city again. They've done it for less. Oh, yeah, I would not be surprised. One more thing I wanted to talk about, because I think this is great. You know, it is political, but I think it's one of the greatest things I've seen in a long time. So Robert F. Kennedy, for those of you that are fans of the Maha movement, just recently released the new food pyramid. And this is what it looks like. All right. So we have the new food pyramid, introducing the new food pyramid. And here it is. So you have meat, proteins, vegetables, all this stuff on top, going down to some fruits and butter and whole grains all the way at the bottom. Now, if you remember the old food pyramid, it was basically the opposite of this. And when they were talking about this, I was reminded of an episode of South Park where they talk about the food pyramid. And what do you know? They actually incorporate that episode. So this is shared by Secretary Kennedy.
The pyramid doesn't work. We've already tried it.
It's upside down.
What?
Sir, the pyramid is upside down.
Turn the pyramid upside down. You can't be serious. That would put butter and fat at the top of the... Flip the damn food pyramid! Get the president on the phone. Tell him to have some steak with his butter.
They nailed it. South Park nailed it. And I thought this was great that they were leaning into it. But yeah, wouldn't you know it? They want you to have real food. Let me pull up the old food pyramid, because I remember learning about it, but I don't remember exactly what it looked like. Old food pyramid images. Okay, so this was yeah, this is the old food pyramid. So you have bread at the bottom. So you have fruits, you have fish, you have meat nearly at the top, and then you have fat oils. Uh, I wonder if there's like a comparison between the two, old food versus new food. All right, here we go. Oh, so I guess a ton of people have different pyramid models, but I like the new one. I think the new one makes much more sense. Meat is the foundation, and I think that's good. That's very good. So yes, enjoy your steak and butter, ladies and gentlemen. All right. I think that was a solid stream. Yeah. I am satisfied with this stream. So I hope all of you guys are doing well. I hope you had a very blessed day. If you like this stream, please like and share and comment and do all those things. That helps me grow. That helps me build my little media empire. And I also just appreciate it. I appreciate the support. And before we go, though, we're going to see if I can read somebody real quick. You know what? I'm going to raid Tim. He's probably not going to notice, but why not? Why not? Why not raid Tim? All right. If anything, that'll just get me a little bit of eyeballs on my channel. So that's a win. Okay. All right, guys. I'm sending you over to Timcast. Enjoy and have a very blessed day. Deuces.
That attacks against regular people is worse because